Off to the races.
All right. Right at 103. Perfect, Anth. All right. Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. Halfway through the month. It's hard to believe. And Jim, since you're in the new carriage home, let's kick off with is the win of the week that you're in the new carriage home?
Based on how long this project has gone, yes, it's definitely a win of the week for sure. So yeah, no, it's first of all, it's been a few weeks since I've been able to participate in the call, so great to see all of you.
Yeah, it's great to see you, Jim. Anything new and exciting you want to share?
We're in the process right now of dialing in on the announcements for DattoCon.
Okay.
Don't ask me what they are because I'm not going to tell you, but I'm pretty excited about some of the things that we're going to be able to show folks.
Very cool. Very, very
Hey,
cool.
Jim, congrats
Yes.
on the new videos on LinkedIn. They're awesome where you're talking about showcasing product, JV and stuff. I think those are very, very informative and positive.
Oh, thank you very much, Enrique. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're trying to be a lot more transparent with our community about what we're doing across the board. Quite honestly, we're taking a page of the SaaS source book. And you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of that from us going forward. But
Awesome.
thank you for the recognition.
Yeah. And oh, good, Ann. You made it. Very good. Congrats. Yeah, and Enrique, if you have those handy, share them because I haven't seen them, and I'm sure everyone else would like to as well.
I will.
Awesome. All right. Chip,
And our big win of making top 20, Andrew.
Well, I'm sorry.
Our big win of making top 20.
Well, that's a win. What is tell me about that means?
So ChannelPro does vendors, MSPs, and different categories. There's one who grows emulsion revenue, but then there's a category that who's the most innovative, doing different things and things like that. So if you click on the little link I put there on the chat, we were privileged to be top 20 MSP of 2025. That's a big win.
Congrats.
Wow.
Thank you.
Congrats,
Thank
Enrique.
you.
Oh, why don't I see the link, or am I missing it?
It's in the chat.
right-
Excited to share this
it's up.
win.
Oh, okay, there it is. There it is. It was up a little bit. Okay. It's awesome, Enrique. Congrats, man.
Thank you. Congrats, Ann, as well.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I have to ask, is it like, does the MSP pay for the sputter deposition thing, or does that pay for you being an MSP?
The sputter deposition. Yeah, that's from my past life in the semiconductor industry. Life. So yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
I have people I know that are in something adjacent. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I have to talk to her about this sometime.
Yeah, and all the plasma stuff is hot now for nuclear reactors. So
it is.
Different application.
Absolutely.
Nuclear's in, Ann.
Nuclear's
fire.
Yeah. Yeah, when the AI takes over the world, we're going to need a lot more data centers.
Yes. Yes. All right. How about you, Ben or Chip? Anything in your world while we have everybody warming up and thinking about what their wins are amongst the community?
I don't have anything specific, Andrew, on the community side or MSP wins that I'm aware of. I do have a personal win in that the construction in my house is finally over, so I don't have to put up with banging and moving around and doing the call from my car quite as much.
Yeah.
May I ask you, Chuck, and Ben, to talk about the certification track at Ride a Boom as a win?
You can ask, but I mean, that's not new news, if that's what you mean. If you're looking for specifics on what we're going to be presenting,
it's available now is the point.
Oh, got it.
There's a problem with that, Andrew.
What problem is there?
Thursday pre-day, there's a conflict. We need to change some stuff up.
Yep.
We want to be in 2 sessions at the same time, and that's impossible.
I knew I'd hear this. So that's why we're doing repeats. Take a look at Friday if you see something you want to be in.
No, this is Thursday. This is Ben and Chip. There's conflict. We need to switch up Thursday. I was gonna email you, but I thought I'd save it for today since
Ben and
we
Chip
need
are
it
on
for
Tuesday.
right Zoom.
Ben and Chip are on Tuesday.
Oh, sorry, Tuesday. Sorry, pre-day brain.
Yeah.
I told her we would be fine to do a different time slot. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
And everybody here has got to be there to find out what we're talking about.
And if you haven't
Totally
signed
up
up
to
for Ride a Boom, now's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Big news though. Speaking of Microsoft, we're going to have a full-blown course that's going to get you all trained for the Entra 102 certification, and there's a few others coming as well. So stay tuned for those getting posted out there.
Hey, Andrew, quick note for me.
Yes.
I was perusing the IBM breach report 2025, and the average time to identify a breach is down to 181 days. I want to
Wow.
yeah, I want to say it was 200 last year, so that's a big improvement. And then only 60 days to contain, so 241 in total, right? And we're looking at minutes here. So hey, we're heading in the right direction. And then on the other side, the global average cost for a breach is down to 4.4 million, which is actually down 9%, thanks to largely this community, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, when you think about, because a lot of obviously that's, enterprise data that IBM looks at, Leron, but when you think about the time that you guys alert and, notify, it's staggeringly different, right? Compared to what an enterprise is dealing with. So that's awesome in terms of your telemetry and response and sometimes automated. So it's pretty cool. Anyone else out there have some wins they want to share? We're gonna have a quiet community. I'll throw out a win. Corey, I'm gonna nominate you for a win with all the shit you've been dealing with Akira, and how gracefully I would say you're dealing with it, and posting, and because it's easy right now for a lot of people to take shots, and you're doing a hell of a job. So good job, man.
Thank you. I wouldn't call it a win, but thank you.
I wouldn't want to be in your shoes right now, man. So I can only imagine the stress you're under. So
Well, it's shifting. If everybody didn't get the news, it's shifting from SonicWall to Fortinet now, and it's expected. These things come in waves. So, I was talking about this in January of this year about how Akira was targeting us, and then now here it is again in August, and now per the usual, they're shifting to a different firewall vendor as well. So,
yeah.
if you have, doesn't matter what brand of firewall you're using, right? If you're using the VPN, you need to take precautions. If you have to use it, there's configuration things. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I made yet another post this week talking about LDAP authentication for VPN and requirements around that.
Does this apply only to dynamic VPNs, or how about site-to-site static VPNs?
So, this is, if there's different technologies around VPN, you can do IPsec, which is typically older, which we're not seeing targeted because it's less use cases, because it's Windows specific and it's just a much older technology. So obviously adversaries attack what's the most common denominator out there, and that is the SSL VPN capabilities. So you have to look at your firewall and what you're using to see if it applies to you. But this is in general why the whole industry is also switching to ZTNA.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Corey. It's like one of these things, almost you're seeing, this is, I'm not doing a good job of my words, but it's truncating time, Corey, for lack of a better word. It's speeding up the process. I mean, I think, I guess if there's any silver lining right now for what the threat actors are doing, it's forcing what should have happened a while ago. And they're, maybe it's with Fortinet as an example, starting to, they've taken, proactive, like sunsetting a lot of their SSL VPN in some of their firewalls. And you wonder if it's Akira is trying to like, hey, we see the writing on the wall. We're going to try and, take advantage of as many as we can right now.
Oh yeah, they're gonna shift. They're gonna shift tactics when everybody moves off of SSL VPN. They're gonna shift to the next thing, and this is just you've heard me say before. This is why we have jobs, to combat them, to try to stay ahead or at least align with them and their new tactics that they're using. And this is why, not to be on a soapbox, my concerns with the things I hear about MITRE and potential of shutting things down, stuff like that. I'm just concerned.
Yeah. What you got, Andy?
My question is around when we have to connect remote sites to each other. And if you think like a pharmacy or something like that, that's either a point-to-point VPN, or do we need to have a ZTNA that goes to a common cloud that they can then route through the cloud to each other? It just, I guess I'm trying to drill down on that.
Yeah, you can't do a site-to-site with ZTNA, is my understanding.
Yeah, so that's why I'm going. Go ahead.
This is not specific to a site-to-site tunnel like that. This is more about remote access. This is
so it's just SS.
Yes.
ZTNA historically is, application, device, and specific, and it's one of the big reasons for its, quote unquote SaaS, is that it's looking at multiple, it's looking at so many different types of authentication. Like, is this the device? Is this the app? Is this the user? Is this, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on, to let that single packet authorization through. Like, that's the beauty of ZTNA. Not that it's foolproof, nothing is, but that's why it's so much more effective than something just like a SSL VPN.
So really, Corey, the concern is not the VPN technology, but the SSL VPN. In other words, we still have to link up sites. And that's what we're doing, at least still in the small space, is doing site-to-site VPNs.
So I would definitely recommend looking at your use cases, talking to, I don't know what firewall vendor you use, but talking to whoever your account manager is and looking at, again, if you have to use that SSL VPN for remote access into the environment, looking at potentially sunsetting that yourself and looking for alternative solutions that will give you the same ability that you're currently doing today.
Okay.
I mean,
thanks.
I've said it. Within 3 years, I'll bet my paycheck SSL VPNs in the past. It's gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Anyone else have anything? No. Okay. Miss Amanda, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, let me sit down there and I'll let you take on over.
Okay. Can you see SaaS alerts right now?
Yeah.
All right. So today it's just an update on IOCs and Respond, and actually a quick one on Fortify. So if you can see here now, when I hover over indicators of compromise, we now have the third option of community templates, just like we do with Fortify. And so if you click on rules and you're building a rule and you want to share it to the community, you now have that option. So when you're working on your rule, you've tested it, you think it's working really well, and you think it's something that, an active threat is happening and you want to be able to share it out with the community, how to block that active threat, you want to click this Publish Community Template button. It tells you you're agreeing to share this. Once you click it, you get another pop-up reminding you that this is what you're doing, and then you click the Publish button. And once you do that, I get the notification that you've published it, and then I review it with some internal folks like Ben and such, to make sure we feel like there is no do harm. We might have a correspondence if you don't include a description, typically I'll ask for that just so that we can explain to the community why they would want to use this template. And then it'll get published to the community template section. So it's now the third tab inside of indicators of compromise. You have your community templates. Courtesy of Ben, we do have 6 already in here. So these are available today if you'd like to go review them and duplicate them and use them in your own instance. And so the update for Respond is just for continuity purposes. We've relabeled templates to community templates as well. So again, if you load Respond, the third tab is now community templates. The existing templates are still there. When you're on a rule, and again, you've tested it, you've confirmed this is what you want to do, this finds a threat and it shuts it down, locks you out of your accounts, etc., and you want to share it, same thing. Publish community template buttons here, you get the same pop-up, get the same modal window. When you hit the publish button, I get notified that you've published it for review. And same thing for Fortify. We already had the community templates portion over on here. And so everything is labeled community templates wherever we have them now. And the same though goes for when you are creating a Fortify template. We've now relabeled this button instead of publish to publish community templates so that it's clear what this button is doing. So in all three places, you now have the option to submit to us so that we can review it and then publish it out to the community for everybody to use. And you will get credit for the publication.
As in financial credit, Amanda?
As in, it says who created it and it includes your partner name.
Maybe we should create a leaderboard.
Yeah, gamify it, Chip.
A leaderboard with a prize at the end of the year.
Yeah. Remember when, and you know what we should do? Ben can give us $5,000 back now he works for the company.
Yeah.
I would have
I
to
was
sell my
thinking more
3D
like
printer.
I was thinking more like whoever wins the leaderboard gets 3 free passes to Write a Boom, including hotel stays.
And actually sleep over with Chip and Jim. What do you think of that?
Well, how could you
they
be
could-
in Pennsylvania and Florida at the same time when you're in Las Vegas?
I think Andrew's suggesting those are 2 different motions.
I gotcha.
Yeah, we'll give some Write a Boom tickets away for a winner.
There you go. I think we got the start of something, Amanda.
Gamification is on.
Corey. Yeah.
Cuddle time.
It's a good thing Jim is not paying strict attention to the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Corey, that only occurs in the military, doesn't it?
The way the last 2 weeks is going, I'll take some cuddle time from Chip and Jen. Come on, let's go.
Corey's got a class, a session.
He does. About SSL VPNs. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. All right. We got Adam.
Hey, that's me.
That's
All
you.
right, I got 2 things today. First one is just kind of a question. We have the Datto EDR integration that we made in SaaS Alerts, call it a year ago at this point.
Right, didn't you?
We also have the Rocket Cyber integration that monitors Datto EDR as well. And so the folks who have signed up for KSIM are I don't know if they're complaining yet, but they've mentioned that they're getting alerts from Datto EDR in SaaS Alerts, and they're getting alerts from Datto EDR via Rocket Cyber, which ends up in KSIM. And we're trying to figure out where the delineation between the 2 platforms are. We obviously do not want to take the integration out of either platforms because there are some partners that have one or the other and not both. So one of the thoughts I had was that in the SaaS Alerts Datto EDR integration, we could provide the ability to change the way that we monitor Datto EDR. So when we look at Datto EDR today, there are 3 things that we're getting from Datto EDR. We are pulling the devices into Unify. We are pulling the alerts that are generated upon any detection. And then we're also creating events based on the activity that's happening inside the Datto EDR platform. And so my thought was on SaaS Alerts, we would keep the devices, or we would give you the option, like kind of checkbox or toggle, like devices in Unify, yes, no, alerts in SaaS Alerts, yes, no, and then user activity in SaaS Alerts, yes, no. And for those folks who are on KSIM, where they're getting it from Rocket Cyber and SaaS Alerts, they could turn off the alerts on a detection of a threat in SaaS alerts, but keep them going through Rocket Cyber. And that way they still get the user activity that's happening within Datto EDR monitored, and they still get the the Unify side, but we're not doubling up on alerts. So I wanted to just kind of pitch that out there and say, does that make sense? Do y'all get mad having to like toggle something on or off? Is there a better idea, or am I making something out of nothing?
Can I ask a question about that one, Adam?
Sure.
So if someone were to turn off the alerts, we're only talking about the alerts, not the ability for Respond to actually see that activity and then trigger off it. Is that correct?
Well, if there's no alert to trigger on, then you'll lose that ability. So that would be one good reason to keep the alerting on. Although I would probably argue the respond action of device isolate is probably redundant from the EDR action of isolate that could be done automatically, I think.
Should we put in the SaaS Alerts UI the ability to control not just the SaaS Alerts alerting, but also the Rocket Cyber or the EDR side?
That, I think, is the direction we're headed. But for the time being, for this overlap of data, I'm trying to come up with a solution that doesn't require a bunch of re-engineering or hoops to jump through.
Yep. Anybody on the call, using KSIM that could comment on this, like the volume of duplicate alerts you're seeing and if it's causing problems for your team?
Yep, me.
Who's me?
Roman.
Oh, Roman. Hey, Roman.
Yeah, I had my hand up. Hey. Yeah, so we're definitely seeing alert fatigue, right, with the Rocket Cyber and KSIM. I had to turn off the 365 alerting on Rocket Cyber because fast alerts is better. We're just getting 3, 4, and sometimes Rocket Cyber loves to duplicate alerts if they come from at the same time. So we're looking at total 8 alerts about the same thing. As far as EDR, we're getting them from Rocket Cyber. I wanted them in SaaS alerts because of that automation, right, to isolate the endpoint. But what I found was a lot of them are coming through Atom still as system, right? So it's like different alerts, just a system, and it means absolutely nothing to us. So I actually had to turn the integration off because we got bombarded with a bunch of alerts that all say system, and then you have to kind of go in and dig as to who's who.
Yeah,
so something still is not working.
Change. Yeah, I emailed you and business partner
did.
on that. That's probably not going to change because EDR does not send us user information at all. So you'll never get a user in that column from EDR.
And there's no way you could correlate through other alerts that come in?
We do it via Unify if you map the Datto EDR devices.
Right.
We can present the user who you've associated to it in the event, which I'm 98% certain we do already. But unless you've done the extra step of mapping the Datto agent to the user, you're not going to get that filled in.
Oh, you mean on the Unify side, not on the EDR? Oh, okay,
right.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I think I have that too. I keep checking to make sure that nothing is missed. So I'll check again. I'll turn it back on because that's what we were seeing, a bunch of unknown stuff. So it kind of made no sense to keep. But yeah, with the introduction of KSIM, there's a lot of duplicates. I had to work with Alex from Rocket Cyber and Ben. I think we you spoke to kind of lower that noise, right? So I did turn off all the 365 alerts on Rocket. SaaS alerts is handling it now. So yeah, it's getting better, but we're still, we just hired a person just to do alerting. Right? Their whole job from 9 to 5 is just to look at the alerts queue. So definitely hoping to see some of that settle down eventually.
All right. I don't know that I got a conclusive answer from anyone, so I might have to go to my my other folks and ask them questions on what we need to do.
May I ask a question about what has been raised here? And that is we have multiple channels coming in that are going to be routing to the SIEM. And this is more of a, I guess, a Jim question. Is there a way for us to have some logic that helps filter this from the EDR, from the MDR, and from SaaS alerts, because they seem to, some would cancel each other out, or it would enhance the alert more effectively. It says, look, this has been registered in the EDR, this is in SaaS alerts. Even with Unify, we begin to bring that together.
More of a Chip and Leron question.
Okay.
Than a Jim question.
Sorry, then a Chip and Leron question.
I think, Chip, you want to take it or you want me to?
Well, why don't you take the question? I'm thinking about some solutions that we could put in place to help manage this in the meantime with existing tools, specifically IOCs. I'm wondering maybe your head's going in the same place.
Possibly. I think that long term, Andy, we recognize that different products have different alerting and that it creates this issue. I had this conversation with Roman actually, where the plan long term is to centralize alerting to one centralized location and then give you the ability, if for whatever reason you want to have 9 different flavors of the same alert, power to you. But if you don't, you need the ability to go in and quiet the alerts and the other applications and choose where the alerts are coming from. But ideally it's one centralized location. But there's obviously some benefits to having redundancy with alerts, but that's a separate conversation.
My
But
thought was more of like a super alert, an alert that says, look, we've seen the same alert from 4 different services, so that you
Right, correlation, right? True correlation. That's it. So if multiple alerts about the same issue / user / device are sent with it, kind of like what you have. It's something if a login happens 3 times within 1 minute, bundle them all together, present one alert with exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of things.
And if this crosses the same user across multiple devices, that's also a big red flag, right? How are they getting to all these devices at the same time? So I think there's a lot of nuance about exposing this real sensitivity we need to have, or the criticality of the ticket would be the right way to say that. Because it's when it comes from multiple devices for the same user, or if it comes from multiple users across the same user across multiple devices, I would say, whoa, you know what I mean?
We're looking at this and we're looking at expanding our machine learning capabilities to do exactly what you just said.
Awesome.
Well, we haven't used KSIM as well, though. I mean, I would like when that integration happens, if it can be something as simple as, if we can select where we want those alerts to come in from, because that is one reason I'm having to set a lot of things to low in SaaS alerts, because we already get it from Rocket Cyber, and it just ends up being so much noise and confusion on which ones do we act on. If we could just ultimately have everything through SaaS alerts, 'cause that's where we have all our ticket creation happening anyway. I mean, from the previous conversations, it sounds like SaaS alerts is going to be the main product. So if it's already got its hooks into Rocket Cyber, it makes sense that we could have an option to just have that generate the Rocket Cyber tickets rather than Rocket Cyber generating on its own.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, eventually I kind of see this as SaaS alerts being the SIM, the main product, and Rocket Cyber just being the SOC portion of it. Because right now it's kind of, there's so much overlap. We either have to turn one side off or the other side off. So, but which one, right? So that's my main concern.
Same.
Well, you guys know that we're rebuilding Rocket from the ground up, right? And one of the reasons that we're doing that is to address this very concern.
Yep.
All right, I will move on to item number 2. Although all of a sudden, because my Mac updated, Zoom needs to have remote I don't know that I'm going to be able to share. We're going to give it a shot. We will try it.
You're going to have to disconnect Zoom and come back in.
That's what I'm
Oh, there
afraid
you
of.
go.
Although it may have.
No, it's working.
Adam, you're good.
Yeah, cool. All right. So yesterday we did a massive release with a bunch of stuff that we had been waiting to get out and about. The biggest one that I've been teasing for a while is the enhanced event suppression. I just wanted to give you just a quick look-see at that, and then also tell you what's coming in the future soon. So from our analysis table, you are able to hit the bell like you used to hit the bell for suppressions. But now you'll notice there is a new modal that pops up over here that slides out. And we have some new features. So we have the ability to set the suppression for a single account, multiple accounts, the organization, or every account in your partner. And then we also give you now the ability to select additional items to get more granular with the suppression. So prior it was just, hey, this one user with this one type of event. So now we can get a little bit more interesting here. So we could say, okay, this event, but also, you know what, if it's coming from this particular ASN, and whatever other items you decide you want to throw in here, maybe Microsoft too. So file download this ASN and Microsoft for the suppression. And then from in here, we now have the ability to put in a reason or a name for this particular suppression. And we have the same functionality that we had prior, which is, hey, I just want to go ahead and hide this from analysis. You can still process the event, but I don't want to see it. And then we have the ability to skip ticketing here. And you'll notice IOCs and respond right now. It's got a little banner here that says feature coming soon. As soon as we get everything in line, and we've tested it 1 billion times, maybe 1 million times, but we'll go ahead and start turning these features on independently. But ultimately what this allows you to do is say, hey, if you see this event, I don't want to see it in analysis, and I don't want to see it in the PSA, but I want to go ahead and have it, I want it to process via IOCs and or respond, or the outside approved location functionality. So we're now getting you the ability to turn on and off the suppression on a module by module basis so that you can get very, very granular. The other item that we have is the ability to set a date. So if you've got somebody who is going out of town, for instance, you could go ahead and pre-schedule an outside approved location, for instance. Or maybe you're going to do a huge backup job that's going to touch a ton of files, and you could theoretically schedule for the full backup that you're about to do, so that you don't blow up the thing for alerts just because there was 1 billion files touched for the first time in a long time. So these additional features should be coming like very soon. We just, in the testing, we had some stuff that didn't look right, and rather than holding back the feature, we decided we'd roll it out with it disabled temporarily, get it right, and then get it out to y'all. So that is event suppression. I see hands.
Yeah, we got Andy first, and then we got Roman. Those are the two I see right now.
So what comes up for me on this is being able to have who authorized this, because this could lend itself to an abuse.
Yes.
Second would be, let's say that I'm all of a sudden taking, I have an example of a customer that they take pictures of all their work and as proof that they've done the work and it passed inspection. And they want to move all this data to a service like Backblaze because it's cheap to keep and it only costs to remove. So how could I set up a policy like this that I could duplicate if that's the type of thing that I'm doing, and say, look, we're actually moving data or storing data now into Backblaze. That's why we're touching all these files. I don't want to create an alert, but I also want to say this is the duration or expected time of it, which I think is great. But to be able to duplicate that going forward so I don't have to recreate this every time.
Yeah, so there's a few things there. One, we will be providing a clone button so that you can keep cloning over and over again. The other item that we will be doing is opening up the API so that you can create these programmatically, because I anticipate a form being submitted that I'm going on PTO to France in 3 weeks, and you could automate the process of creating the suppression ahead of time. And since it has a start date and an end date, you can set it and forget it.
Are we able to set an approval process so that someone just submitting a form doesn't set an exclusion policy here, and that it's reviewed by the team before it's enacted?
That's on your side, dude. I mean, you've got your RPA and your forms and whatever you're doing for automation.
I'm just
hit our
expressing
API.
that I could also have a rogue guy doing this, working with somebody, and I'm just looking for a way, or give me a dashboard that says these are in force or this was just created, so that I know these things have been done independent, if that makes sense.
So you will get an event created anytime one is created, modified, or deleted. And you could absolutely have those events go to your PSA, or you could use an IOC to maybe even text message you.
Is this available for any SaaS alerts, or can we tier this for, hey, you have this attribute, and so you have the ability to create this?
Right now, it is available, I believe, to MSP admins only. But we do not have granular RBAC in SaaS alerts just yet to be able to create different roles that have this or does not have it.
Okay, thanks.
So Adam, just to clarify, if I make a change, there's a audit trail.
There is an
right?
audit trail. Correct.
Yeah, there you go, Andy. It's already recorded. Where did
Yeah, I mean, I had a question, but you answered it, right? So we are building out exactly what you described, the Microsoft form. If people are going on vacation, started end date countries, I have it integrated with Autotask right now, and I would love to actually, once the API becomes available, to kind of pre-populate it here. I know before you guys used a certain, because we use text box for the countries. Will there be some sort of a logic or some sort of AI where if I put in, US or United States of America, or let's say Florida, it would know the country, or does it have to match exactly how API would, kind of accept it? 2-digit, 2-letter abbreviations, whatever it is.
So for the time being, you're going to need to present us the data in the way that we're expecting it. We're not going to transfer the fly with AI. But that's a good idea for the future as we start thinking about MCP servers and AI and things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, Ben, the dropdown works great, but sometimes they're traveling to multiple countries. So unless I make them submit the form multiple times, the dropdown won't work. But I'll cross that bridge when I get there. That's cool. All right. Thank you.
Adam, can you comment on the safety mechanisms we put in place as far as suppressing the suppression event itself?
Unknown caller. So we will not let you suppress any SaaS alerts module. So nothing from SaaS alerts manage, unify, respond, IOC. Any of the internal auditing stuff will not allow you to suppress. So for auditing purposes, our platform cannot be silenced from itself.
Does that reinforce some of your concerns, Andy?
Now I just have to be able to extract it. How long is the audit trail kept inside SaaS alerts?
400 days.
Thank you. Being able to create a dashboard and a widget type of thing, if you think about the Kaseya process there, that would be really helpful to be able to have a widget that says, let me drill down on something like that. That would be very helpful.
Okay.
anything else, Adam?
That's all I got today.
All right. Nice job, bud. All right, so let's go to. All right, Chip, got some fun for you. Ready to go?
Yeah, ready to go.
Fish of the week. This one I thought, like, not that it was like insane, but in terms of it's like cleverness, but I thought, how some of these email systems, whether it's a MailChimp or whatever, right? You now can put in a mail preview. Do you know what I mean? So you have your subject and then there's a preview pane right below it. Do you know what I mean by that, Chip?
Yep.
So what this phishing attempt is doing is actually using that preview pane to make you feel like the URL is legitimate. So what they're doing is they're using the preview pane here and I'm like, oh, well, that is a legitimate URL. However, when you actually hover, you'll see the real real domain, the real phishing attempt here. So, just more educational for everybody of how, what threat actors are using different tools and starting to use preview pane to make get people's guard down, which is the whole point, right, of phishing, Chip. Try to different modalities to get people to feel more comfortable, and not necessarily do the normal check you might here because you think it's all good here. So, thoughts on that one, Chip?
Another good one. You know, I had sent you one also, which is pretty close, in the same kind of vein. That one was an SMS message targeting a specific app. I won't get into the details, but a specific application that I use almost daily.
Want to
That
show it?
does. What's that?
Can you show it?
Do I want to show it?
Well, do you want me to show it? I have it right here.
Sure, if you want to.
Yeah, it's a good one. Here you go.
Yep. So this one triggered a higher level of flag for me, because one of the things I realized, and Andrew and I were chatting about this, is that it's pretty trivial for somebody to build an app that you install, like maybe a little game you want to play, or a different version of multiplayer chess or whatever, that actually scans your devices and reports back all the apps that you're using and allows for much more targeted spear phishing.
Can you do this with an Apple device?
Oh, sure.
I didn't
With all
think
the
I thought Apple sandboxed every application.
But it depends on your settings whether or not it has access to look at your
Fair
app
enough.
inventory. That's a setting inside. Um, so yeah, so this one just popped up, and I looked at this, and it would be easy if I weren't the paranoid person that I am. It would be easy for me to fall for something like this. Like a consumer, I could absolutely see them falling for this because they don't recognize, PNC login hx.vip as necessarily a threat. So to me, that jumps out. And what this would do, obviously, is you would wind up selecting that URL and entering your banking credentials. Now, the other dead giveaway, we've seen this over and over again, is the reply yes, then reopen the SMS to activate the link or copy at your browser. Um, Again, first time that this ever occurred to me was looking at this one sort of more critically. There are some people who might think that that is a security protocol to reply yes, then reopen it, and now you have an active link. That never dawned on me before. We've talked on multiples of these prior, but it occurred to me that again, the less initiated may look at that and say, "Oh, well, I'm following a security step here to make sure I'm safe." So it wouldn't shock me to see that reply yes set of parentheses in future versions of this and others like it that start off with, to ensure your safety, reply yes, reopen the SMS, and click the link. So,
This could also go to data security awareness training around
oh,
looking at the
sure.
number that's coming in on the text to say, does that even make sense? Because this
Yeah,
would be outside
which
the
it
US.
doesn't.
Right.
Yep, which it doesn't. Um, So look, I think the reason Andrew and I go through these every single week is to offer more security awareness training material
Yeah.
for you guys to present to your customers. That's really the main purpose of this segment. What's become, I think, a standing segment, Andrew, of the SASE call.
Yeah. Well, and also, Chip, I thought was clever. Last thing I'll say on that one was it was clever enough to know from a geolocation that PNC Bank was a legitimate bank in your region.
Yeah. Yep. Or we can assume it could be that way. It also could be just, completely thrown out there in the wind. Who knows? But
yeah, coincidental. Sure.
No doubt that it could be geolocated to Middle Atlantic. Yep.
All right. So this one is, Chip, as I said, I'm going to lean a touch on you for this one, but this was pretty alarming in the sense of we think, okay, if we are using, some type of phishing resistant MFA, we've got to be feeling a lot better with the MFA AITM attacks, Evil Jinx, etc. Ben, you'll like this one too, because we've been through this so much. Well, there's a fun little matrix here and I'll send everybody the links if they want. However, there's a fun little matrix, Chip, that show that not all web browsers support FIDO2. And so the threat actors have gleaned right into that. So let's just say, for example, you like Safari on Windows and you're using FIDO2. Well, it's not supported. and the threat actors know this. Hence, the phishing kits use something called a fishlet, which will then error out when you go to use your FIDO2. And that error out allows the phishing kit to then take this and provide you a friendly, different authentication mechanism that they're going to use to then intercept. And Ben, does this look familiar for all the evil jinx that you've run?
Yeah, a little bit.
So what do you think of that, Chip? This little friendly matrix here that they've found different ways to bypass and basically downgrade FIDO2.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped into the article, Andrew, and it's interesting that they found these specific holes, but the sort of unstated thing in the article is that whole attack thread, attack chain of getting a user who, let's say they have MFA with app authentication, telling them it won't work. Oh, can we try SMS instead? That's been tried before, and I had that nagging in the back of my head. I think that's been tried before, and this is an evolution of that. So I actually did call Ben. He and I had a scheduled call anyway, so I said, "Hey, let's go over this." Like, I sent him the article and took a look at it, and lo and behold, Ben comes back, and I guess this is kind of a sideways swipe at Proofpoint, maybe. But Ben came back and said, "Oh yeah, this has been out there in the Evil Genics Discord thread for ages. People have been known about this one for a long time. It's just that nobody's using it because there's so much other low-hanging fruit they don't have to bother." But again, this is a great training piece. Ben and I talked about prevention on this, and immediately comes to mind what we talked about, I think last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, is Microsoft bringing session token protection down to P1s. Use Entra, get, another reason to convince your customers to get all the devices in Entra. So you can assign tokens to specific devices and just bypass this. So even if someone does fall for this new updated version, they have a FIDO key, the system tells them, oh, your FIDO key didn't work. How about we have you step back to your authenticator app? Even if they get through all of that, if they've got session token theft protection in place, that's still going to prevent the attack from proceeding.
Yeah. Yeah, really
So
good.
Ben, you want to add some color there from what you've seen on your favorite Discord server? Well, your second favorite Discord server.
Yeah, that Discord server was harder to get into than ours. But yeah, they're constantly posting fishlets about this sort of thing. And I posted one from Microsoft that was created about a year ago. So it's been out there for a little while, but it just depends on what it's trying to bypass. This one, the one I posted, bypasses or downgrades the Windows Hello feature. And the one that's the first one I posted was for Okta, and that's actually pretty new. That was only a couple weeks old.
Got it. Okay.
So Steven has his hand up there, Andrew.
Yeah, Steve, go, bud.
Yeah, this is a little unrelated, but I wanted to confirm that you're willing to give some Ride a Boom tickets to whoever contributes the most rules and ICs to the community.
Wait, we don't want to do that. The way that we should score it is by the amount of rules that actually catch bad guys, not sheer volume.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll figure out what the rules are.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.
So does anybody have any questions on this? Or maybe a better way to put it, does everyone understand, like, through and through, the evolution of this particular attack that Proofpoint is pointing out, and how to protect against it and message it to customers? Because I do think, Andrew, this is one of the more important discussions that we've had in the Week in Cyber segment for a while. This will become more ubiquitous. It's yet one more thing that we have to train customers on. If they aren't willing to move to session token protection, if at the very least have to train them that, look, if your company uses FIDO tokens, then don't ever log in without it, no matter what. If you guys use the MFA app, Don't ever accept the prompt from what you think is Microsoft or Microsoft to make you step down to SMS. Like, you know, people have to be trained to hold the line. I think, Enrique, you had your hand up first there.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Chip. Just have a question regarding since we started speaking about token theft protection with P1 and things, and then Andrew's cyber call last week, I believe. Am I interpreting correctly? This currently only works on actual clients, not on web browsers, the token theft protection?
Correct. It's device. Essentially assigning a device and an account name together to protect the token.
But if I log in, if I get confused when it says it only works with clients, like with my Outlook desktop, my Microsoft Teams, but most of the phishing for this type of attack happens on a web browser.
Ben, you want to comment on that? Because I think it should still work with a web browser. The device ID comes across on its own. The web browser comes across in the agent field of an event that we get from Microsoft, what they call the agent. The agent is essentially their name for what the application is, whether it's a browser or it's Outlook Local or anything else.
Yeah,
And
I think it depends on the browser too.
Yeah, and bleeding into this, Ben, I'll just set you up. I think the big reason, Enrique, is from a licensing perspective. Microsoft can't quote unquote enforce the license at the browser level because they don't own they don't own the browser. However, they do own, the licensing at the P1 and at the device level. So that's, I think, where and that's one of the things Kelvin was very emphatic about Microsoft policing the Entra licensing at each person having the license. But once it's enforced, it's going to enforce across the different pieces of that particular app user. Is that true, Ben, how you took it?
The user and the device together.
Right.
Yeah.
User.
Yeah, Calvin said it was mostly comparing like IP addresses and some other things. I'd like to do some more tests on that, but yeah, I mean, it really depends also, like Google Chrome doesn't natively provide like the Entra ID over to Microsoft. So it's hard for it to
The
tell.
way
So
I read it is if Ben sends me one of his beautiful evil Genics like he did on the lab in Kaseya Connect, and I click on the link because I trust Ben, and he fishes. I'm on a Windows web browser. I have P1. I have the conditional access policy turned on. The way I interpret it is I'm on a web browser. I go to his evil Genics link. He still is going to be able to steal my token. That's the way I read it.
Yeah. We can ask Kelvin, Enrique.
yeah, and I can
Yeah,
do some
and
more
the way
tests.
Kelvin explained it makes me feel like browser is covered because he's really like he was reassuring, saying you have to do this. This is the protection. And to me, well, if it's not the browser, which is, I don't know, 70-80% people get phished using a browser, not their Outlook client or their Teams client or their OneDrive client. So that's where I get confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have to take Ben up on his offer to test this because I have an opposing view based upon the data that we see. The device ID does come across even if you're logging in the browser. We see that in the data.
Yeah,
So
true.
the agent is there, but the device is as well, as long as you are registered with Entra with that device. That's the key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andy Rowe?
Yeah, my question is around this FIDO2 downgrade. Are we not able to configure Google and Microsoft 365 not to accept something other than at a FIDO2 level, if that was our choice? So that would be a defense against this as well, is that I could just disable all other types of access.
Yeah, that's a great thought. And I asked the same question to Ben. I said, I thought that there is a setting, a conditional access setting that you could create that would allow someone to, let's say, only log in with FIDO or only log in with the Authenticator app and not SMS. So I've got to go back and verify that. We can look at it in Google too, because we still have lots of Google environments out there. But I had the exact same thought, Andy. To me, it should be a policy setting that you establish, hey, if FIDO is our method of logging in, we're not going to allow anyone to use an Authenticator app or SMS.
And that's a data security awareness training to the client and to the support team, because you don't want the support team saying, oh, you can't log in because you don't have FIDO enabled. I mean, you have it enabled only. Let me give you an alternate path today. So
Yeah.
that would be, just like a Las Vegas hotel, support board type of issue again.
You know what? That opens up another another attack avenue that I didn't think of until just now, which is, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I set up MFA on anything, you always have an opportunity to download single-use tokens and store them in a file. You could also construct the fishlet to ask you to use one of your single-use tokens because you don't, because it hasn't succeeded in any other way. So that's,
Yeah.
we'll have to look for that one, Ben.
Chip, to Andy's point though, if it's a phishing page, would it really quote unquote care that you about your policy at that point?
Well, what happens is, I mean, well, would it care? No, what I'm saying is there a way to create a policy where people, even if they're being prompted by the fishlet to use something different because the flow failed on the FIDO token, that when I say policy, I mean a systems policy that's enforced, by Office 365 itself, by the authentication provider that they've built, or by Google or whoever. A policy that doesn't allow for the user to use anything other than their FIDO token or other than their MFA application. You follow me?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not using policy in the sense of something that you write down and you have your end users acknowledge with their signature. I'm saying policy in terms of a system policy that enforces the behavior.
Okay. Gotcha. I know we're at the top here. Just one real quick one for everybody. This has been patched, but BitLocker had four major vulnerabilities. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. It's been patched. However, they highly encourage anybody using the BitLocker out there? All right, Andy. So they're highly encouraging, even though this was patched, to take these mitigation steps on top of the fact that it was patched already. So I know we're at the top of the
Guys,
hour.
I love these conversations about how to better secure our customers and to know what's coming. It really makes a difference.
Thanks for sharing this one.
Hey, gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt at the last minute here. I asked a question in the chat, and I know we're at the top of the hour, but maybe Chip or Ben, if you have any recommendations, this is a prospect. It's probably about 80 users that I pitched SaaSlers to, and they're looking for API fraud monitoring, security, and insider abuse. You guys have any recommendations? You just drop me an email if you would, please.
Yeah, I'm looking for your post in the chat. Okay, I see it, Peter. Yeah, well, let me snapshot that and we can reply to you, add a band here and let everybody go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody, have a fantastic week.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.